Hi, I'm going to do an acrylic pour today, and for those of you that are new to this process, let me show you the ingredients that I use. You need a medium. Floetrol by Flood is my very favorite. I use nothing else unless I've run out. You can also use this Liquitex medium. I've had some success with just plain ordinary Elmer's glue. But that's always my last resort. Some people use it exclusively. For me, it just doesn't work. Next, you need to have a silicone, and silicone is what makes the cells appear. The brand that I like is this Treadmill. It's not that expensive, and you only use a few drops of it, so it lasts for a long time. And of course, your paints. I do not use expensive paint, just regular old craft paint will work. And my favorite tool, the blowtorch. I'll be showing you that more later. So today I have some primary and secondary colors. I'm keeping it really simple. I have mixed it to save time because really the most important part of doing acrylic pouring is getting your paint mixed correctly. You need to make sure that it's stirred completely, that there's no lumps in it, and that you have a pancake batter consistency. The recipe that I use is 1 part paint and 2 part Floetrol and 2 or 3, maybe even 4 drops of silicone, just depending on how the size of the cup. So once you get these all mixed up, which I have here, this is where the fun begins. I think I have enough paint here for 2 cups, or almost 2 cups. So let's see, I'll start with this one first. And I always start with white paint. I don't know why, just everything that I have watched and read on YouTube says start with white, and it seems to work. So this is where you start layering. And also I don't know why, but I usually try to go with a darker color first, and I pour it from high so I can pretend like I am a bartender. No, actually, the velocity, and I'm hoping that's the right word, helps make the paint start bubbling, because the silicone's in there, and the silicone immediately starts trying to find its way to the top. Okay, so here's the next one. I'm just going to put a little more white in there. I try to keep the same sequence, but you know what? It doesn't really matter because it all ends up together anyway. Oops, not liking what I'm seeing right there. You know, using orange and blue, or at least in my experience, sometimes it gets a little muddy, so I need to be careful. So I'm going to kind of hold back on the orange. All right, and there's the red. A little bit more of it, a little more of that. Now I'm going to go to this other cup, try to do this as fast as I can so I'm not boring you. Woo, that really plopped in. And there we go. Almost there. Now it's kind of interesting because, you know, same mixture, totally different looks within the cup. Now this is one where I said, oops, it's starting to look brown. This one, not so much. Sorry, can't figure out where it is. But you can probably tell that, you know, it's bubbling there, and that's really good. In fact, there's already cells showing up, so I like that. And now this is where it really gets fun. And because I'm messy, I'm going to put on some rubber gloves. If you like having nice nails and keeping your manicure always up, this is not the thing for you. Your hands are always a mess. Okay, I think this is either a 10 by 10 or 12 by 12. I always put these little thumbtacks on the back of them to give them little feet, so it gives me a little bit more weight or a little more ability to maneuver it. And yes, my cat decided to wake up and lend her voice to this video. She's always hungry, but I've already fed her. That's not what's going on. All right, so here we go. There's different ways that you can put the paint on the canvas. The first one is to do a flip, and that's where you, like that. But I'm gonna do a pour today because I just haven't done a pour in a while. And there's a little bit more control over it. So here we go. I hope that you can see this. And I just kind of start at one end, and yes, this is really did get pretty brown. But that doesn't mean it's going to end up being that brown, so we'll see. Okay. Now, ooh, I'm excited. There's some really good cells in here, which you can't see yet, but I'll show you in a little bit. I'm going to do a little tilting. And I always do my tilting too fast, and then my cells get wonky, so I'm going to try to make myself do this a little slower. This is why my nails are always a mess. Okay. I still have a little bit left in this cup, and I'm going to keep it back, but now I'm going to use this other cup to fill in the rest of it. This process takes a lot of paint, as you can see. Now, if I wasn't doing a video, I would probably spend a lot more time and do this a lot slower. To make sure that I'm saving sections that I like. I'm really loving this orange here. This is kind of dark in this area, but it's beautiful. This area I just adore. And now I'm going to go back, see what happens here. Ooh, some great cells that are just going to fall off no matter what happens. Don't know if you can see that, but I've got some really good cell action there, and they're all going to fall off. But that's okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm really liking this blue a lot better. Pretty brown over here. Don't like that. This is really brown. So let's see if I can maybe get rid of some of that and come up with something a little prettier. Cover up that. Always amazes me. I mean, it's the same paint, but totally different outcomes from what comes out of the cup. And I can also see, oops, there, the bottom of this cup that produced all the brown, now it's got some really interesting things going on in it. So I'm just not liking the brown. So I'm going to pour over that, do a little tilting. What happens once you pour is very subtle changes happen. you go, well, nothing's really happening, but it does. Cells will start popping out, but to help some of those cells pop out, that's why you have the blowtorch. Now this is going to be a little noisy, but I won't do it for very long. So you get it turned on. And if nothing else, the torch helps pop all the little air bubbles. And that's important because you don't want to have pop marks when this dries. I'm not getting a lot of big cells by doing this, but I am getting some little ones, and then the little ones may end up becoming bigger ones. It's kind of a wait and see process. And I'm still not happy, even though I really like those orange cells. I'm just this, in here, it's not making me happy at all. So we are gonna do that. Ooh, I like that. I'll try to get you a little closer once I get this all done so you can kind of see what's happening here. Let's just cover that up. And what's great about this is, even though it looks like I'm just pouring it on and you're going, oh no, don't do that, the paint kind of just finds its way, and it mixes itself in with the other paint that's there, and that's good. Well, since I'm really liking this blue, let's try to get as much on there as I possibly can and try to hide as much of the brown as possible. It's kind of like rivers. And that's the thing about acrylic pouring. You never know how they're going to turn out. You can choose your colors, and you can choose your canvas size. You can decide how to put the paint on, a flip or a pour, but when the paint goes on, it has a mind of its own. And sometimes it's really great, and sometimes it's what I call an epic fail. This one, I'm not going to call it a fail. I think it's going to grow on me. They usually do. I start studying it, and when it starts drying, and then more cells start to pop out. So that's really kind of fun. Okay, I've got just a little more blue paint, so why not? When I say blue, I mean the blue is the primary color. Ooh, I'm so glad I did that. There's a whole bunch of cells popping up here. This is messy, as you can see. I usually wear an apron, but the apron is covered in paint and really ugly. So I decided to risk a t-shirt, just a nondescript gray one. And of course I already have orange paint on it. A lot of my clothes now have paint on it like that. But I love doing this. And if you decide to do it, if you haven't already started, be careful, it's addictive and it's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time.